Hello, everyone. This is Carrie from Stamp with CT. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Texas. And with me today in the craft room is Dale.
Hello.
And Oliver, the crafty pup. And we are here today to bring you the December bundle bonus project. Now, the bundle bonus is a PDF tutorial with the supplies and measurements to create the projects that are shown. Several demonstrators come together to create this awesome tool that you can use to help inspire your crafting. So for December 2023, our bundle that we're focusing on is called Countryside Corners. Now, this one comes from the current annual catalog from Stampin' Up. And on page, what is that, D?
62 and 63.
62 and 63, where you'll find this sweet collection. So first, on the left-hand side here, we have some beautiful projects that were designed by the artists at Stampin' Up. And then over on the right side, you've got the actual products from this suite. Now, we're going to be using the Designer Series paper today, and also Countryside Corners stamps and dies, or stamp and die, I should say. You'll see why I say stamp and dies in just a minute. So let's take a little bit closer look at these products. We do have the Countryside Corners stamp, and this is just one big stamp, y'all. It is pretty cool. I will say, when we first got this stamp, it kind of surprised me that this was just one big stamp with all of those different patterns to go along, but it's really cool that Stampin' Up! Did it like that. While we're here, I want to show you a little tip. We use a clear envelope, and when we cut extra pieces from a stamp set, we'll just pop it in the clear envelope. That way, the next time we go to create with this set, we have some pieces here that we might be able to utilize. We just find that that's a way that we're much more apt to use those little pieces that we have left over. So I'm going to set this aside for right now. Dale, if you want to go ahead and put that on that, which block is that? F block?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to use the F block, which is that really large block. And you could put this stamp on directly onto your work surface if you wanted to, or if you have a stamping tool such as the Stamparatus or Misty, you could certainly use it with that stamping tool as well. We're pulling in
my glass plate. It sticks real well to it.
Oh, yes. We have a Tim Holtz glass mat. And so if you had something like that, those larger background stamps or large stamps like that, that's a great way to utilize that as well. We're putting it on the block today, though, but we're going to show you some tips of how to utilize that stamp and get the very best image and be successful with it. Now, coordinating with the stamp set is the die set. We do have it on a card with just a couple little strips of magnet to help keep that in place. And you're just using some of the smaller dies today, aren't we, Dee?
Right. I'm using the smallest one, and then the
next size up.
That's like 2 sizes up.
So I'll tell you a little secret. Dale helps me a lot in my business. He is my supporting demonstrator, and he actually designed this card for you. So we're super excited to share it with you today. We'll set those aside. And then we are also bringing in this super cute little stamp set because it has some sentiments to go along with the Countryside Corners bundle. We are just using a couple of ink pads today. Of course, this blue and white paper, it has lots of different colors. The Countryside in Designer Series paper has lots of different blues that you can choose from. And we'll just flip through this swatch book right quick so you can see that beautiful paper. This is one that has really been in and out of stock since the catalog went live in May. It's absolutely stunning paper. And so as of when this video is posting, we'll have to check. If you have any questions about any of these products, let me know. I'll be glad to check and make sure. If you have any trouble at all ordering at stampwithct.stampinup.net, just let me know and we'll be glad to help you. But hopefully it'll be in stock when you see this video. Okay, here is the project today, y'all. Really, really pretty. showing off a couple of the patterns of designer series paper. Then we're also pulling in the pastel adhesive back sequins just to add a little bit of sparkle. That show up on camera. Can you tell, Dee?
Yeah,
little bit.
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Catches the sun a little bit.
Yes, catches the light. So really pretty little embellishments. Okay, let's get started with this project. Okay, let's start with some stamping. You want to do that, Dee?
Absolutely.
All right, let's move our project out of the way a little bit, but still in the view, so
Okay.
can refer to it. So we've got that
So,
countryside corner stamp. And then where do we go from here?
well, I'm gonna ink it up with some boho blue,
Okay,
and I'm gonna stamp. I'm gonna bring the paper to the stamp this time.
okay. So are we worried about trying to stay just in that small area? It looks like you're inking up the whole stamp.
Well, I'm trying to get it inked up good, and I'm getting ink all over the stamp. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Oliver just scooted across the mat.
And so I'm gonna bring my paper in here. I'm gonna set this across. And then I'm gonna put my silicone craft sheet on top so
Okay.
that I don't get a bunch of ink on my fingers because I over inked it.
Oh, look at that. Then any extra ink's going to go on that craft sheet. So great to protect your work surface and your fingers. Proud of you for that one, Dee.
Okay, see how we did. Beautiful image.
Okay, I like that.
So I'm gonna.
So
put
did we
this-
get some excess ink on there at all?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now we've got a little tip for, so we don't have to worry about that since we're die cutting, do we?
All right, I'm gonna take that to the sink and wash it in just a moment.
Okay.
And
You want to do in some more stamping before we?
yeah, I'm gonna continue with the stamping. This time I'm gonna use the that was boho blue.
Mm-hmm.
This time I'm gonna use Misty Moonlight to stamp on the boho blue piece for the Let's Celebrate, and then I'm also gonna stamp in the center here.
Okay.
But let me bring my piercing mat in so I get a decent image. Oh. Okay. So let's start with the Let's Celebrate.
That's from Sentimental Park stamp set, and it's a great set because you can kind of build your greeting.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that on the chamois.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just trading out stamps here.
Okay. And if you're pretty good at lining them up, as you said about getting your stamp on straight onto your block, as you bring your block to the stamp, is that correct?
Yeah, what you want to do with a photopolymer stamp, when you take it out of the case, you kind of stretch it. So if you will put your stamp down and let it rest for just a couple seconds, and then bring your block to your stamp, it allows that stamp to go back to its proper position, or its usual position. If you bring the stamp and put it on the block, you have potential to kind of twist the stamp or distort the stamp. So, and when you're working in a small space to stamp this greeting like Dale is, I guess any little, like any crookedness, any little misstep shows up more. And ultimately it's a hand stamped card. So we're not looking for perfection, but we want it to be as straight as we can get it. So we want that stamp to be mounted well.
I'm going to use a block to position everything now that I got it all set, and so that I don't have to look at the stamp when I'm stamping.
Okay.
By using this block I can pick this up, and then when I put the stamp back in after I've inked it up.
So you have the stamp positioned exactly where you want it.
Right.
You're using the second block
to guide so that I keep it nice and straight, or trying to.
Okay.
Then getting some even pressure on it, then pick it back up. Oh, I got it a little bit low.
Gonna work?
It's gonna work.
It's gonna work. Okay, put
But-
those
Ooh.
blocks over on your chamois. Good job.
And close up our ink pad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
No fun in that, but I don't want you to have ink everywhere,
Right.
especially when we're about to bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take your ink pads out of the way too, so you've got a little bit more room.
Okay.
All right, so what platforms you using here?
I'm gonna use the normal platform. Number one.
Number one.
I'm gonna use my number 2 shim. And I'm gonna use a well-loved cutting pad.
Okay, number three.
Number 3.
That's where we've really let that cut into that cutting pad. Lots of die cutting has happened with that. Okay, what else do we need?
So now I'm gonna take the dies and I'm gonna put them on to make sure that,
Oh, you have more than one?
oh, well, this whole, I got the whole set.
Okay, so you just need one die
I
though to
just
cut
need
out.
one die.
Okay,
I'm gonna use this next to the smallest in here. Try to get that positioned as pretty
close as
decent.
possible.
Yep. And I'm gonna put my other number 3 plate over the top of it. Try not to let it move all over the place. And
Gently crank it through.
start the earthquake.
Right.
So now we have our sentiment stamped
And die cut.
and die cut. Okay, now
We're
we're
ready
ready.
to put our card together.
Yep, we got our
Got
two
our other
pieces,
little greeting.
other little greeting,
Okay.
and we got our components for our card. So let's. Did we get this bone folded good?
No, we need to do that. So what are we starting with as far as our card base?
We're gonna start with it's 8.5 by 5.5,
Mm-hmm.
scored at 4 1/4,
Mm-hmm. Knight of Navy.
Knot of Navy. And we're gonna,
Make sure we've got a nice crisp fold there.
okay, and then we're gonna open up to the inside.
And we're ready to add our inside panel.
Yep.
We like to do that whether it's a dark card base or not. Just really like the finished look that it gives.
Okay, and the dot not a lot, if you've watched this before.
We know that this is a great adhesive, but we tend to overuse it. So we want to make sure we're just editing ourselves with our glue usage. You can go ahead.
It also gives us a lot of places to hold on to the cardstock without getting glue all over ourselves. And
just making sure you've got equal borders all the way around, kind of wiggling that into place. And then it just takes a second to dry. So you've got your inside panel.
okay.
I always like to use the bone folder one more time after I get that inside panel in there. That's just me. I just
Okay.
like to make sure, show it who's boss. Then it's nice and flat there.
Okay.
So next up, we've got a piece of that beautiful designer series paper. You really can't go wrong. Either side would work, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Any of the
absolutely.
patterns, I think. So just adding that to the front of the card base. And all the measurements are in the tutorial. So we like to post that in CT's Craft and Connect. It's our community Facebook group. So if you're not a member of CT's Craft and Connect, the link is in the description of the video. Pop over there and join us. that's where it's kind of our online classroom. We do a monthly stamp class that is free with the purchase, but anyone can watch the video and be inspired and craft along with us.
Let's go ahead and get the top sentiment on first.
You can bring your dimensionals over. That makes it easier.
Yeah.
So let's celebrate.
Let's celebrate. And
Yeah, you're really good about using your take your pick tool to get those backings off. That's a good tip too. Then you don't have dimensional backs all over your house. That makes me sad.
so we'll get this up on the corner up here.
Okay, kind of justifying it over to the left. I like that.
And then on the next piece, I'm going to glue these two together. And what I've done is I've cut the balmy blue and the designer series paper with the same die. And there's an old school art technique of leaving a shadow. And I think these geometric shapes lend itself very well to this. And so you can put as much, we'll just do this one a little bit larger.
As much or as little as you want of a border there of a shadow. That's a cool technique.
And it helps, the colors help bring out, depending on how much you do it, it depends on how much it accents the color. So we'll put a little on this and this toward the center. And then we'll position it so that we got a little bit bigger border this time. This is all about what you like.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Making it your card. And then we'll give that a moment to dry. And then I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down on the card front itself. Hold that over just a little bit.
So putting that top sentiment on first kind of gave you your placement, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And then now get our dimensionals in here. We'll get some dimensionals on the sentiment. And we'll place this so that it's over to the edge as well.
Okay. I like that. It helps balance the card out. Really cool. Such a pretty card. Okay, we'll move everything out of the way. We have one last little step that we want to add our embellishments, right?
Yes.
We put the Stampin' Cut and emboss machine on top of them. That's not good.
Okay. And so
we've started using the putty end to pick up embellishments, and as they're on that waxy sheet, it works really well. The putty end of our take your pick tool to pick those embellishments up. For years, I've used the piercing tool, and this just really seems to be working well for us. You like doing that, or piercing tool?
No, I like doing this because it has them so that when you set them on there, the adhesive back is already down and in place, and it just less fussing.
Okay.
And then
so we're always learning, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And if the piercing tool works for you, you do you. That's awesome. But we have begun using that putty end and really successful with that. Okay, so that is our December bundle bonus project for you. We hope that you love this. And remember, if you want to purchase these products, you can hop over to our online store at stampwithct.stampinup.net. And we would love to see what you create. If you do recreate this, be sure to send us a picture. We love to see your creativity. Thanks a bunch.